Okay, and we're going to today talk about 12.2 and 12.4. I'm going to combine them into one lesson. 12.2, we're talking about frequency tables, line plots, and not histograms. Your homework is going to say create a histogram. It's not a standard we have to meet, so you're not going to be expected to create a histogram. But what a frequency table is a way to represent data. It's a way to represent, it's a way to collect it, and it usually will look like this. You'll have a table, and you're going to have some kind of number, and then the amount that it occurs. And then that will continue through. It's a way to just determine, that's how you can quickly determine mode from a data set, and etc. A line plot is another way to represent data. A line plot will just give us a visual right away. We'll have some numbers here. Let's just say we have like 1, 2, 3, 4. And we represent its frequency by just making X's. In reading this line plot, I say there would be 2 1s. Looking at this, there would be 1, 2. There are no 3s in this data set, and there are 3 4s. So those are just 2 ways to represent data. Most of the time what we do, the sequence, is we create a frequency table, like 1 occurs twice, 2 occurs once, we don't have any 3s, 4 occurs 3 times, and from our frequency table, we usually just go ahead and make our line plot from there. How we represent it is usually always like X's to represent how frequent it occurs. The steps to create a line plot, this is for creating a line plot. We got to first make our frequency table, like what I showed you in that first slide, and second, you make the line plot. It's pretty fast. It's just tedious to try to find the numbers that we are working with and how many times it occurs. We're going to jump right into an example. A dice was rolled 20 times, and the results are displayed. Create a line plot. So what I do, the first thing I need to do is make my frequency table. And lastly, I will make my line plot. So the first thing I do is I kind of look at the range. I'm like, where do my numbers start? It looks like I go from 1, and my biggest number looks like I'm 6. So I go in between 1 and 6. And now I just start tallying. On 1s, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3 1s. For 2s, I have 1, 2, 2 2s. And that's why we use a pencil, because sometimes you overlook a number until you get to the end. 3s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 3s it looks like. 4s, I have 1, 2, 3 4s. 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 5s. And 6s, I have 1, 2. All right, I calculated all of my frequencies and stuff. My next thing I'm going to do is create my line plot. So I'm going to put my numbers on the bottom. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me get this a little longer. 6. Write them down. And now represent how often they're occurring. 1 occurs 3 times, 1, 2, 3. 2 occurs twice. 3 occurs 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 occurs 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And 5 occurs 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6 occurs twice. Looking at this now, I can analyze this data set and say, okay, what is my mode? It's not helpful for me to find my mean here, but it's helpful for me to find my mode. And my mode would be my most often occurring again, which is 5. My mode of this data set would be 5. Another example, I'm going to display the data below in a frequency table. So again, I'm looking at my range. What's my smallest number that I have? My guys are thinking it's 10. If I find something smaller, just erase and rewrite it. My biggest number looks like is 15. And now fill in the blanks. 11, 12, 13, 14. Now start calculating. Tens, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. 11s, I have 1, 2, 3 11s. Uh-oh, I see I missed a 10. There's another 10 here. That's why I use a pencil. This is 5. 12s, I have 1, 2 12s. 13s, I have 1, 2 13s. 14s, 1, and 15s, I have 2. Another good strategy with these frequency tables is we can put our number in order too. So seeing that 10 is my smallest, if I wanted to quickly put it in order, I could go 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 5 times and continue that on. It's another quick way to get some numbers in order to find the median. Alright, and if I were to make a line plot of this, again I start with my smallest, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 doesn't occur 15 times, and 13 doesn't occur 13 times. What did I do? 13 occurs 1, 2 times, and 15 occurs 1, 2 times. I have no idea how I just rewrote them. Anyways, so 10 occurs 5 times. Let me just fill this out. So I would make 5 X's. 11 occurs 3, 1, 2, 3. 12 occurs 2, 1, 2. 13 occurs twice. 14 occurs once. And 15 occurs twice. I can look at my mode with this data. What is my mode? I would have 2 modes. My mode would be 10 and 11. That's my mode from that data set. Alright, we're not doing histograms, so that's all you need to know with frequency tables and line plots. What we're going to do for 12-4 lesson, we're going to talk about stem and leaf plots. Stem and leaf plots look like you have a stem and a leaf. The stem is the front end of the data set, and the leaf is this back end. So what this really represents for stem and leaf, this represents the first number. These are different endings of the first number. So this whole stem and leaf plot represents numbers in the 20. It's 21, 24, 26, 25, and 25. What we're doing is we're taking this common 2, pulling it out, and then making that stem. I have a 1, I have a 4, I have a 6, I have a 5, I have a 5. Those are just different ways to represent 21, 24, 26, 25, and 25. Properties of stem and leaf plots. There can only be one number on the leaf part. That means this back end. It can only have one number to represent the front part of the stem. And it is a quick way to get data in order. That is our purpose behind it. It's really fast to get our numbers in order. We're going to be asked to find the mean from stem and leaf. When you find the mean, we just add all the numbers up and divide by how many numbers there are. We are also going to be asked to find the mode from stem and leaf. And to find the mode of stem and leaf, the first thing we're going to do is cross out the last and the first parts of the leaf, and then we continue until we get to the center. Just like normal medians, if there are 2 in the middle left, we find out what is halfway between the 2 of them. We look for that halfway point. We're going to jump right to an example. I'm going to make a stem and leaf plot of this data. I'm trying to see the stem. It looks like I'm a 3-digit number. So my stem, I'm going to have 2 digits, okay? Stem is going to be 2 digits because the leaf can only have 1 digit. So I'm just going to see how I can chunk this together. Looks like I go, my minimum, it looks like is the 180, it's 18. And I go to the 21s, which is 210s in there. So I'm going to make an 18, a 19, a 20, and a 21. Those are my stems. Now I'm going to try to put them in order. Again, you will probably make mistakes or forget one, so you want to make sure to do this in pencil. So it looks like my smallest value is the 189. Then I'm looking for 190s. Looks like I have a 190. I would just write a 0. Looks like I have a 192. I don't see a 191. I'm not going to spend too much time looking for that because I can always erase. A 193. A 194. Looks like I have a 195. Another 195. A 196. And a 198. That's exactly how I do this, 196 and 198. Okay, and now in my 200s, it looks like I have a 200. Looks like I have a 201. Another 201. I have a 205. I have a 208. And then in my 210s, I have a 211 and a 214. Now what I do with this, I can find the mean, and how I would find the mean, I'm not going to spend the time to do it, but this represents, this first one here represents 189, so I would go 189 plus, this would be 190 plus 192 plus 193, looking at these, plus 194, and then I would continue on and divide by how many there are. And how many there are, you just count the leaves. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 numbers here. To find the mode, I will actually do, because that's a little easier, cross out the first, cross out the last. You cross out the smallest and the biggest. Smallest and biggest. Smallest and biggest. Smallest, next biggest, smallest, next biggest, smallest, next biggest, smallest, next biggest. I'm left with 2, so my median would actually be right in between the 6 and 8, which is 7, and then we got to look at our stem, which is 19. So our median of this data set is 197. Stem and leaf is actually a very effective way to find median and modes. All right, the next one. Okay, this next data set, what I'm going to, I already formed the stem part. I looked for my minimum. My minimum was in the 80s. I looked for my maximums. My maximums are in the 12s or 120s. And I'm just going to go ahead and order it. So it looks like my smallest is 86, and then I do the 87, then I go down to 91. In my 10s, I have 101, I have 111. My 11s, it looks like I have a 113, and that's about it. My 12s, I have a 120, I have a 125, and I have a 126. And it looks like I forgot 97, and then I need one more part of my stem, it looks like, for my 130s. That turns into 134. I want to look to see, can I identify my mode? Again, what's the most often occurring? Looks like I have 2 1s here. That is the only one where I have repeating, so my mode would be going back to the stem part. This represents a 10, 101. My median is going to be cross out, looks like I have 1 left over, connect it with its stem. My median is 101, and that is all you need to know with stem and leaf plots. You're going to have an example where you have 2 of them on your worksheet, I'm going to have you just try your best on that one, and we'll go over that on Monday.